Hey, it's Beth. So this is my discussion posting for EDUC 5131 Week 8 for activism or vigilante justice. There's a lot of things we read and took in for this. So the two that stood out most for me from the reading materials were the young man from Ontario who was suspended from school for what they found to be distasteful social media posts. And in that article, what I found really interesting was that young man was in a Catholic school, and that his school administrators objected or found that his posts would harm the integrity or the moral authority of the school. And something that wasn't discussed in the article that I thought was interesting to consider was the fact that he was a member of a Catholic school, which brings up a lot of issues for why Catholic schools exist as separate public school systems in Ontario. If it's not appropriate to have some kind of element of a different standard for ethical or moral behavior than in the non-Catholic public school system. So I think that's something that muddies the waters that wasn't really addressed. But yeah, the kid sounds like kind of a jerk, but I don't think you should censor that. Lots of teachers are also jerks. Lots of administrators are also jerks and are kind of jerky in their regular life. And, if that's not impacting your ability to do your job directly or directly harming your relationships in your job, then I think stay out of your business. In the second article, so the one where the young girl in the UK was asked to stop her blog, I thought that was really interesting. She was doing that as part of a school or an independent learning project. She got the permissions. She kind of went about that preemptively trying to follow all the rules. But then when she was posting, caught a lot of attention, and I think the school board felt like it shone a negative light on the nutrition of their school lunches. Then they chose to kind of revoke that permission they had given her. So I think that really speaks poorly to a lack of transparency. That kid was using, the power of digital media and the internet to do exactly what we want our kids to do as digital citizens, to be self-directed in their education and to use the amazing tool for connection that the internet can be to call attention to issues. That's transformative education. That's education where you're having a real world impact. And they said in that article, the school lunches improved as a consequence of her posting. So more salad was available, more fruit. So I think that's exactly what we want education to do. So it's really a shame that situation was shut down. Although both, I think, schools would have used similar policies to shut down both of those behaviors. So I think, the first instance, a little bit different again, because Catholic school versus not. In terms of the other articles and the situation we were asked to consider, where some students or a student punched a disabled kid, and then somebody filmed it, and there was a call for taking violent action. I think, again, and that kind of connects to a teacher abuse on social media post a little bit. If you're using the internet or digital devices with the intention to cause harm to somebody else, that's not good citizenship. Good citizens don't cause harm to one another. And I think that's what we picked out of our discussion about citizenship is digital citizenship. Digital citizenship really takes the rules that we apply in real life and tries to use them on the internet. So that wouldn't be good citizenship in general. But I still don't think that if we're trying to promote concepts of citizenship, that we should leave the digital space out of it. But that doesn't necessarily mean I think we should censor people either, especially when we think about activism as a teacher, somebody with a job who very much would consider myself an activist. I'm a feminist, ardent supporter of TOS LGBTQ plus rights. I feel very passionate about lots of things, Indigenous education. I think about if I was a Black student or a Black teacher going through the Black Lives Matter movement. I think to start to control and impose rules on people in their work or school situation that are counter to our fundamental underlying goal of creating, citizens who think critically, who use their voices to try and affect change that they want to see in the world. I think as long as what you're doing isn't causing harm to anybody else, we all just need to chill out about it. I did really like the point that the Teacher Views on Social Media post made, which was that this behavior can be really harmful, but where's the line of abuse? And again, I think just that good practice of, to be good digital citizenship, you shouldn't be trying to cause harm to somebody else. And if you do that, if you go off on a teacher in a public space where there's a record of it, where the platform is so much bigger, that can obviously kind of cause harm to people, especially in small communities. So I think it's just to refocus on that concept of Inukit care and connection, but also take an eye to, we want activism. We want our students and our colleagues to be working for positive change and increasing of social justice. That's what education is. So I think anytime we start imposing rules around that, we're in kind of a dangerous space.